Dennis Madden, auxiliary bishops. Behind them are Monsignor Victor Boyd, who's our Vicar General, Monsignor Osman Alzano, who is the rector of this basilica, and Monsignor Bruce Jarbo, who's a rector of the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen. Also here is Father Joseph Marcello, the secretary to the next man. I'd like to introduce you to Bishop William Lori, former Bishop of Bridgeport, now Apostolic Administrator. And Archbishop Lori, you have no idea how happy I am to see you. It's with deep gratitude to our Holy Father, Benedict XVI, that I welcome Archbishop Lori as the new shepherd of this historic Archdiocese of Baltimore. I've known Archbishop Lori for many years. I've been very impressed, as so many others have, by his deep love for the Church, her people, by his extraordinary work both as Bishop of Bridgeport and as a valued leader on behalf of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Archbishop Lori has ably pastored the priests and faithful of Bridgeport and has solidified the foundation of that local church in many key areas, most especially Catholic education, evangelization, and priestly vocations. His outstanding administrative abilities have enabled him to serve the wider church through his leadership in several areas, including marriage, religious liberty, and the protection of children. Bishop Lori has been an outspoken advocate for religious freedom and for the preservation of marriage between one man and one woman. As a member of the U.S. Bishops' Ad Hoc Committee on Sexual Abuse, Bishop Lori was instrumental in drafting the Charter for the Protection of Children and Young People, a landmark document that still guides our Church's efforts to protect children in our care, hold abusers accountable, and promote healing of victims. This Archdiocese has been blessed by many outstanding leaders through the years. Our Holy Father has continued this tradition, the naming of Archbishop Lori as the 16th Archbishop of this premier see. He assumes the helm of this Archdiocese with the support of many dedicated clergy, religious and lay faithful, as well as the prayers and encouragement of me, his predecessor. I look forward to watching his God-given talents and gentle nature bear much fruit for the glory of God and the benefit of his people in this holy church of Baltimore. The installation will take place at the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen on May 16th. I give you Archbishop Lori.
Archdiocese of Baltimore, our nation's premier city. It fills me with joy, fills me with gratitude, the very thought of shepherding this great church. My first thought is gratitude to the Lord Jesus. The Lord Jesus, the Good Shepherd, the one who shepherds his people in love and in truth. And so it is to the Lord that my heart, my thoughts first turn. And secondly, I would like to express my gratitude, profound gratitude, to Pope Benedict XVI, who has entrusted me with the stewardship of this great and historic Archdiocese of Baltimore. And my gratitude to Cardinal O'Brien, Cardinal Keeler, and their predecessors, stretching all the way back to Archbishop Carroll. In a very special way, I'd like to thank Cardinal O'Brien. You know, since I discovered about a week ago, in fact, 1 week ago, 1 week ago this evening that I would be coming to the Archdiocese of Baltimore. Cardinal O'Brien has met with me. He's given me the tutorial on the Archdiocese of Baltimore and has been nothing but kind in helping me acclimate to the very thought of succeeding him to this great see. And so thank you so very much, Cardinal O'Brien. Through the years, I've known Bishop Rosansky and Bishop Madden. We worked together at the Bishops' Conference and did so many projects, and simply got to know each other. And so I very, very much look forward to our work together and to your helping me come to know the Archdiocese. And thank you for what you do also for this Archdiocese day and beyond. I'd also like to mention that Monsignor Boyd has been most helpful. If you're a bishop or a vicar general long enough, we have always an opportunity to speak to other bishops and other vicar generals, and we've had many opportunities over time to speak with each other. And during these days, you've already given me a crash course in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. This morning we had a meeting of the senior staff that fairly left my head swimming. But thank you so much, Monsignor Jarbo. Very nice to look forward to the installation of Mary Our Queen. And Monsignor Arthur, thank you so much for your very warm hospitality at 408 Old Charles Street. I've been in that house many times, but I never dreamt I could live there, and my mother still doesn't think I'll ever live in a house quite that historic and wonderful. In the coming days, coming weeks, I look forward to coming to know the priests of the Archdiocese of Baltimore. A wonderful, strong presbyterate with a proud tradition, and I look forward to coming to know the priests both collectively and individually. Also with us today are the seminarians, the stateside seminarians of the Archdiocese of Baltimore, those who are at St. Mary's in Lower Park and Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, and also, I think, Theological College. I'm so happy to see all of you and look forward to coming to know you. I studied many years ago at Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, so my formation to become a priest took place in the Archdiocese of Baltimore way back in the 1970s. And also, of course, I was a priest of the Archdiocese of Washington, and so a near neighbor to the Archdiocese of Baltimore. We always, as the Archdiocese of Washington is the youngest daughter of the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and we always shared so many things in common, so it is a great joy and a great privilege to be here. In the time ahead, I'll be out visiting parishes or schools, charities, working closely with members of the laity, those in consecrated life, our deacons, both permanent and transitional. And I really look forward to working with everyone so that we might unite in bearing witness to Christ, and that we might join together in the spirit of loving service as this historic archdiocese proclaims the gospel afresh for our times. I also look forward to working with civic and interfaith leaders, ecumenical leaders for the common good. I ask that the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, will inspire, unify, and strengthen us all as we move forward with a strong and an active faith. Thank you so very much. God bless each and every one. marriageable life. They're easier to stump than archbishops. So, questions, and I guess you'll identify yourself?
Yes, I'm Alex Dmitrik with Channel 13 here in Baltimore. I'm sure that the Cardinal's tutorial or part of it had to deal with current law to sign the same-sex marriage issue. How are you going to get involved with that?
It did. Well, first and foremost, a bishop comes as a teacher, a witness to the truth, and the church has clearly and consistently taught about the importance of marriage as between one man and one woman for the good of society and as an institution that predates all religions and all governments. And so certainly, while I don't know the details of what lay ahead in the referendum, I'll certainly be not only teaching as a bishop, but also working with all of the bishops of Maryland and all of the other leaders as the referendum unfolds. Thanks for your question.
Robert Lang, WBAL Radio. I know Cardinal O'Brien has done this, for that matter, Cardinal Keeler has done this, trying to reach Catholics who have not come to church, have become less observant. They may differ with church teachings on the marriage issue, various other issues. What do you say to bring those people back into the fold?
Sure. First and foremost, you identify the great challenge of the church in our time as culture becomes increasingly secular, and as sometimes people have indeed tended to drift. The Holy Father has called the whole church what he calls the new evangelization, and that's proclaiming the gospel afresh. I think sometimes it's a matter of invitation, it's a matter of listening, it's a matter of helping people to maybe take a second look at their church. Sometimes people know a caricature of what the church teaches as opposed to what it really does teach, or maybe they don't know why the church teaches what it does. Sometimes people have hurt. And so it's a combination of bearing a joyful witness to the gospel, a combination of reaching out with the good news, and then listening and inviting and opening the doors wide. And so I think that's really that's really at the heart of the church mission. So thanks very much. Please.
All right, Barry Sims, WBAL TV. One of the things that Cardinal O'Brien has talked about was having some unfinished business, as he believes. And one of the issues that he talked about was the church consolidation. And I'm sure he's talked with you about that as well. And can you just talk about how that process will work? What types of things you're planning to do in terms of that as you come in? I know it's new.
And you're right about that. It's true. Certainly, Cardinal O'Brien and others have given me kind of an initial glimpse at the issue. It's not uncommon in a large archdiocese like this one that consolidations would be thought of and be in the planning stage. At the stage I'm in, which is putting my big toe in the water this morning, I certainly have to look at this very carefully, listen to a lot of people, do a lot of studying, and a lot of prayer. And I understand it's an important process, and it's one that I look forward to coming to know and carrying forward as appropriate. So it's certainly going to be on the agenda. Please.
Hi, I'm Alex Dominguez with the Associated Press. I know that you've been a leader of sorts in some of these major issues of the day, healthcare, contraception, the gay marriage issue. Do you feel that maybe the Vatican is looking to put you a little closer to Washington and the leadership there with this position?
Yes, the Vatican decided that I was spending entirely too much time on the U.S. Airways shuttle, and so they moved me to Baltimore, so I'm a train ride away. I've been, I don't know, one never knows what goes into an appointment, but I would have to say the very thought of teaching the faith, promoting and defending religious liberty, and serving the common good of society from a chair once occupied by Archbishop John Carroll is very humbling, and I hope it will be a source of great strength and great grace for whatever the church calls me to do.
Chris Dutton from the Catholic Review. You've been engaged in that religious liberty discussion for a long time, especially recently. What first sparked your interest and why is it so important?
Well, first of all, I think it is an issue that should concern all of us as Americans. I don't have a huge number of hobbies, but one hobby that I have is American history. And if you do any reading at all on American history, you come to love all the more this great noble experiment that is our participated democracy. And as someone involved in the leadership of the church over the years, it was hard to miss that there's been an erosion of religious liberty over time, sometimes through laws, sometimes through court decisions, and sometimes simply through the increasing secularity of the culture. And it's so in my own mind and heart, as in the minds and hearts of many, it began to solidify as an issue that needed to be dealt with in a concerted way. And so I was very gratified when the Bishops' Conference last summer decided to make this one of our major priorities. And then Cardinal Dolan asked me to help carry forward this effort. So I think it's something that I've come into gradually, but now I'm in it with both feet, I'd say.
Cardinal O'Brien made it a priority to write a regular column in the Catholic Review newspaper. Do you think this is something that will continue? And what are your thoughts of utilizing the media to help spread your message?
Great question, thank you. I've always, since I've been in the Diocese of Bridgeport, I've done a monthly column. The paper there comes out every month. I understand the review comes out every other week. Is that true? Meaning that my deadlines will come twice as often. And, you know, I'm sort of like a kid in college, you know, that works well under pressure. So I hate to tell you this, but the looming deadline helps focus my thoughts. I also write a column for the Columbia magazine in Knights of Columbus every month, so that's another deadline that is upon me. I think that when the gospel was first proclaimed in the days of the Roman Empire, we used the system of transportation, the roads and the waterways to bring the gospel. Today, it's certainly the print media still, it's certainly the electronic media, television, but it's also through the more modern, contemporary social communications, not simply websites, but also the more interactive forms of this. This is where young people are. This is where some of this new evangelization is driven forward, and this is also where you sometimes find people interested in giving their lives to the vocation as well. So these are all instruments of the gospel. We realize that every form of communication, it can be misused, and it has a downside, but I think it has many more upsides than downsides. Any other questions, sir? Oh, please, I see.
Melanie Water with Fox 25. I'm wondering if you are anticipating spending a lot of time in an house in Washington, D.C.
on some of these political issues right now, learning so much about others. How much of a priority will that be for you to represent the church?
Well, as the Archbishop of Baltimore, I will also be the president of the Maryland Catholic Conference in Annapolis, collaborating with Bishop Lori and Cardinal World, and certainly that's a very important thing for the church to be well represented there. And I want to pay special tribute this morning to Mary Ellen Russell, who runs the Maryland Catholic Conference day to day. I've known Mary Ellen for many years, and I think it's important for us to be there, not only looking after the interest of the church, but also the church comes to this as a provider for the common good. Educational services, social services, pastoral services, in almost every locale you can think of. The church is the largest provider of those services, next to the government, which mentioning does not provide pastoral services, of course. And I think it's very important that we are there, not only representing the interest of the church, but looking for all the ways in which we can serve the common good. Other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
I'm Mary Ellen, I'm at Baltimore County. I see from your bio that you've been very successful in increasing vocation for what can you do here?
Well, first of all, Cardinal O'Brien, you've made it a great priority in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and there is a great group of seminarians already here in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, and I think that many seeds have been planted, and so as St. Paul says, somebody comes along and plants the seed, and another one comes along and waters the seed, and still others tend the seed, and God gives the growth. So priority number one, everybody will tell you this, and I'm just the last one to do it, it's prayer. Prayer is the first thing. When we pray for vocations, God sends vocations. And so that's number one. And number two, it's a partnership. We have a fine vocations program with Father Austin Murphy, and Bishop T. Austin Murphy ordained me a deacon, by the way. And so we have a fine vocations program already underway. I think it's important that all of us, clergy and religious, encourage those who have been called to priesthood and consecrated life to respond. And that's also the importance of the family. Vocations are born in families that keep the faith and that love the church and want to be generous with their young in the service of the church. So I'm very hopeful as we go forward that God will send us many vocations. You're letting me off easy. Listen, thanks everybody, and great to be with everybody. And I really want to thank everybody for coming here this morning to greet me, and just ask that you keep me very much in your prayers in the weeks and the months ahead. I'm very humbled